Now that Iron Lung has mostly finished its theatrical run, the no spoiler request from Markiplier has been lifted. So, let's get to talking about what exactly transpired in this very polarizing movie. This video is meant to be a follow-up to my last one, so in case you haven't seen that one yet, you can click the card on screen to watch it here. If you have anything you like to say, whether it be something you agree with me on, something you disagree with me on, or some insight for something I may have forgotten, let me know in the comments as we go along this journey. Let's figure out Iron Lung's movie. One last thing, purpose that Mark has asked for no clips of the movie outside of official promotion to be used, but we can use screenshots from the film. Now, for the meat of the video. First, we gotta get one big question out of the way. Is the movie canon to the game? The answer, kind of. In an interview with Slasher Radio, Mark mentions the film went into production at the end of February 2023 and wrapped production around the beginning of April of 2023. The reason I bring this up is because in David Szymanski's official Discord server, who is the guy that made the game the movie is based on, he mentioned that for the time being, the film and the game are separate canons. This is because the movie diverges from the game in a few ways. Then, a few days later, he went on to elaborate that the movie is a different canon because it does things that he isn't sure if he wants canon for potential sequel games. Obviously, this was nearly 3 years ago, so who knows if this is still the case. I was going to reach out to David in the Discord server, like I did in the last video, but since the movie came out, the members in the Discord have quadrupled, so I don't really want to bug him there. I did send him an email, but I think it's also the case there that he's getting slammed, so he's yet to reply. However, in an interview with IGN released on January 29th this year, Markiplier did mention this.
He's already said, and he's perfectly okay with them kind of the game having a different canon than the movie, and them kind of existing side by side, and they're not direct relations. So
he then goes on to say that this movie is an adaptation that expands upon the narrative of
50
are two separate stories. For example, Frog are not present in the movie, as confirmed by David that it's a different movie. In that case, what else does the movie do differently? Eden's identity as having the last trees is catapulted into them being kind of a tree worth the big pull. At some point, the trees on Eden completely died, as confirmed by Simon. They seem to be under the belief that soil from the remains of Eden civilians, after they die, will be enough to grow a new tree on the station. That's why the sapling Simon finds in SM-13 is such a big deal to him, because for all we know, that sapling he finds is the last one for any tree in the universe. The attack on Filament Station, as I'm sure you know, has much more dire implications in the movie. In the game, it's kind of just mentioned that Filament Station is inhabitable anymore, while in the movie, Ava outright says Simon destroyed Filament Station, and later he says it's gone when speaking with the fish. So it sounds like it's still there, just unlivable in the game, and it sounds like it actually completely exploded in the movie canon. One of the convicts captured is Simon, commonly referred to as the Butcher. He gained this nickname because of how many people he killed in conflicts between Eden and COI. Once captured, he is offered his freedom through the convict realization program by Ava. Basically, he has to go down in the ocean of AT-5 and photograph what he finds. It's kind of just the plot of the game Iron Lung, but this characterization is pretty distinct in comparison to the game. We go from an unnamed convict who could have just done practically anything to end up in this situation, maybe even been a member of the Consolidation of Iron, to a confirmed mass murderer from the Eden Station. While the COI thinks he's a monster, it is a great way to establish a pretty morally gray and complex character for us to follow, and is likely why the deity in the Blood Ocean takes so much interest in him. One thing I'd like to point out is that, unlike the sub from the game, the one in the movie we can see the strings attached to the submarine in a official poster, which we know is official because it's also on Mark's channel. This is how they're able to pull him up out of the ocean and set him back down into it. Something very interesting in the beginning parts of the movie is when Simon is being put into the Blood Ocean, are you hearing this? The sound he's referring to sounds a lot like later on, the floor itself is confirmed to be moving on 85. The reason I point this out is that there are some indications that 85 is actually alive to some degree. solid blood and gases that move around periodically. The moon is intestine. While Simon stands against the blood and asks why it's so hot down here. Well, in the body, the blood is in a consistent liquid state. It hovers at around 150 Fahrenheit, or around 36 to 40 degrees Celsius. Since it is warm, this is how the blood on AP5 stays in its liquid state, and again nods the moon actually to be alive. When Simon is brought up after finding the skeleton of something in the depths, we learn that the camera is an extremely strong X-ray. Whenever Simon takes a ton of radiation photos in the blood. This is a very interesting first, since we never got one in the game. I'm not sure if it's autonomous with how the game somewhat scary interpretation in the film that the skeleton Simon saw might not have just been a skeleton, although this is very quickly debunked as the blood ocean for the movie is this fish, funnily named Ellie by the official artist of the film. More on that later, there's actually probably a reason for it being named Ellie. The point here is, though, that the frog and dragon from the game and Ellie in the movie are all too thick-skinned to have their skeletons viewed by the X-ray camera, meaning that everything in the blood of the skeleton is, in fact, just a skeleton. Instead, I think this is mentioned in the movie because the excessive amount of radiation the camera emits is likely harmful to Simon, thanks to Haunting Concern 791 on the Iron One subreddit, as they were able to catch that one Simon manual towards the beginning of the movie. Not use the camera as frequently as it could be harmful. As we can see, Simon did not read the manual. Last the camera was a slot with oxygen levels going down, place he can't comprehend, likely experiencing a concussion from being thrown around in the submarine. This is all established thinking to get us to watch what's real and what isn't alongside him. Or it could potentially be that no matter what Simon is doing, he's never going to get out of the SFR. While he's being suspended on the space station, we see what can only be described as a decaying body looking at him from the back of the sub. When he goes back there to confront it, he finds the computer terminal that across the virus. This turns it on, where he hears the note left by the unknown convict. We learn one that mirrors that of the family, as they all call each other brothers. It also lets him know that he is not the first person they've sent down here. However, the biggest thing to take away from the scene is what the previous convict left for him. A capsule of some kind with a sapling in it. Again, this is potentially the last sapling for a tree in the entire universe. He ties it to his left wrist for safekeeping. Interestingly enough, this isn't the only time, though, that we see the corpse he saw. He later sees it sitting in the chair of his sub, looking back at him. The reason this stands out is because it mirrors exactly what he did earlier, hiding behind the corner, while it's sitting where he was earlier. He also looks very similar to how Simon does near the end of the movie, even missing its left arm. So that means, by all accounts, this must be Simon. It's very clear due to how the corpse looks that Simon's fate was likely predetermined, and its job while he's on the SM-13 is to lead him down the right path to end up where he does at the end of the movie. How this is possible and what this could mean, we'll try to talk about later. After being set down again and grabbing the skeleton sample by ramming it, Simon's sub is attacked by something and the crew has to break the tethers holding the SM-13 to the space station. He quickly falls unconscious and Simon finds a life jacket, which while used in the gag at the moment, will be important as we point out later on. After turning the power back on, while originally I assumed under attack by a creature of some kind, I have since started to think that the SM-13 is on the floor of the moon before we get to the moon. That's why Simon was under the part of the map, because the floor of the AP5 changed while he was down there and put him somewhere new. Unfortunately, the floor shifting reaches the porthole and the blood moves to his left eye. While the immediately, progressive, the blood in his body is going to alter him, especially when they had a split touch angle right after. Creatures start to blast, hold reach on the beach, and He doesn't want to admit that he's killed so many people and potentially find them. While him yelling, "shut the fuck up," and punching it is an incredibly funny moment because a lot of us just went, "Oh, that's just Markiplier." This moment is probably meant to be disturbing because it's the first time we get to see Simon act incredibly violent. And the second reason is the radio, under our assumption, is broken. It does try and hold reach again a little later on, but Simon seems to have busted it up pretty good. To try and treat his wounds, Simon bandages himself up and drinks a tub of icy cold alcohol, or more commonly known as rubbing alcohol, which is usually meant to help with bacteria should be consumed by someone because it is incredibly toxic. According to the Icon Recovery Center, larger ingestions can cause severe toxicity and may require medical emergency. It goes on to list some symptoms of rubbing alcohol poisoning, which is abdominal pain, vomiting blood, mental confusion and disorientation, depression, and drops in blood pressure. These three of those happen in iron lungs, and quite a bit of rubbing alcohol. So it's safe to say that he's also experiencing alcohol poisoning on top of radiation poisoning, low oxygen, and a potential concussion. Simon is quickly becoming about as unreliable of a narrator as possible. He notices that he's in an unmarked area on the map and begins his way out. Very quickly, he comes face to face with the fish we all know, Ellie. In case you're confused, again, Ellie is the name given to the fish by the creator of its parents. So, Ellie is what I'm going to call it for the rest of this video. Ellie's design is very interesting as her appearance is oddly human-like, but this isn't a coincidence. As I hinted at earlier, it is very likely that Ellie was actually a human, or specifically one or multiple members of the SM8. This in itself is a cool twist on the game, as the SM8 is truly an Easter egg for the player to find. Now, it plays an important and crucial role in the movie. Later on, we learn the SM8 encountered the Void that we'll see in the game. Of course, in the game, while the Void does sound like it tries to communicate with us, we can't actually interact with it at all. However, for some reason, it is likely the SM8 was allowed into the light, as the movie confirms on the last phase 3. The Void is a portal. It's noted through logs by one of the researchers that the light is actually a fragment of the Quiet Rapture. We'll talk more about that later when Simon encounters it, but what you need to know is that the SM8 was lost after this. The CY did not know they were or while they were down here, they found out that not only was the blood in the ocean human, but they could synthesize it into food, although they know in the movie that this should not be possible. While it seems the rest of the crew is reluctant, one of the members of the SM8 can't stop thinking. On IMDb, LZ Lovelock, who plays the research lead that drank the blood, also is listed as the speaker, the primary voice of the fish on 85. Ella Lamont, the assistant from the SM8 that tries to stop Elise from drinking the blood, is listed as the Whisper, a voice that appears occasionally in the fish on 85. While it isn't clear exactly how this transformation happened, these two people, at the bare minimum, became the fish called Ellie. This is further confirmed as in the poster for Iron Lung. At the top of the jaw for the fish is a human skeleton transfused with its body, and a clear face above that, suggesting that this is two people combined. And while this one is kind of a long shot, it's very likely that the name from the creator, Ellie, is a combination of the two actresses that voiced the fish, Ella and Elsie. A lot of people in the cast are named simply after themselves, like Jack Sepetine's character is Jack, David's character is David, Dave Petit's character is Dave. It wouldn't be impossible or unlikely for them to name the fish after the movie's voice. This is even confirmed by a BTS that LC Lovelock posted on her Instagram, which is shown to be thanks to Pale and David's official Discord. But Ellie the fish recognizes and responds very poorly to finding out that the Element Station was gone. The first deal I would do, and later on, Ellie both recognizes Ava and apologizes for killing her. When they said the SM8 was the weapon scientist from the COI. When Ellie apologizes, it is important to note that she doesn't say, "I'm sorry." She says, "We're stuck," again pointing to there being multiple people in this fish. And if for some reason you aren't convinced yet, while I've been writing this video, the official artist for Ellie posted a front-facing POV where she had at least 6 human skulls merged into her face. Hello everyone, probably a bit of a jump scare to see me, sorry to interrupt your guys' video, but as of this morning, the 12th of February, Cantaloupe from the Iron Lung subreddit actually reached out to the official artist, and shockingly, they just outright confirmed that Ellie is the SM8 crew. Can't believe they just did that. In fact, they did a little bit of potentially more than just that. So it's no longer a theory, it's just outright confirmed that Ellie is made of people. In fact, they even took this image showing us that her body is conducted by limbs. Yeah, anyways, back to the video, just to quickly correct that. So, yes, after a lot of exposure to the blood on 85, they morph together and totally SMH, bursting out to swim in the ocean. The lead researcher seems to be the one in control, as she's the one that consumes the most blood. Something that is still super strange to me is that while Simon is down here, he takes a photo of what looks like an eye or an orb of some kind, and he marks it on his map, says fucking aliens, and continues on with it. Obviously, it ends up not being important, but it's just how important it looks to serve absolutely zero purpose. With her, creating a voice overlay like that. Simon's oxygen hits the lowest point, and after venting to her, she asks, would you give everything you possess to survive? When Simon says yeah, she tells him to go to the coordinates 116 and 520. Two people that have played the game, if the mention of the light didn't cue them in, then the coordinates likely will, as the only thing near this is the void from the game. She tells him that if he goes there, he will live, and they will be free. While Simon is on his way over to the light, Ellie echoes probably the most important line in the entire movie. Do you believe in God? An ignorant God sees a sliver of our universe through a pinhole and thinks he understands all that is and all that is. And it will, because a God makes sense of what it sees despite what it should be. The light. It illuminates, it blinds, it thinks, and therefore we are. I think this line gives us everything. And it's the key we need to understand why the quiet rapture happened. A god from another universe decided it wanted to peek into ours and see what was going on. When it does, it's not omnipotent. It has no idea where we are, what we're thinking, or what's actually going on. So it tries to make sense of our world and relate it to the one that it knows. This actually directly mirrors Simon viewing through a porthole in the COI. He was looking in to watch Ava and her crew, and he thought he knew everything about the situation, like his camera, but in turn, he ended up harming all of them and giving them intense radiation poisoning. He just wanted to see outside of the SM-13, but he ended up accidentally harming people. So, if we apply this to the light, this means that the god just wanted to see what was going on in our universe, but in turn, it accidentally harmed people. It caused the quiet rapture. The quiet rapture is a cosmic event caused by a being in another universe by complete accident. To talk about it more, we're going to have to keep moving forward. As he draws closer to it, the ship begins to shake and we hear the sound of the blood boiling. Then, Simon takes a photo, making it abundantly clear to us that this light Ellie is referring to is the void from the game. What's very interesting is the light in the photograph Simon takes is moving still, despite that not being physically possible. Ellie continues to spout some lines that I think could be important. We will see, Simon. We will see the answer together. They're calling us. This is our salvation. Our promise. This is when Simon finds out that his speaker has been unplugged the entire time. And whatever this thing was communicated to him straight through his brain. When Simon hesitates to move forward, Ellie comes up behind him and pushes him into the light. Unlike the game, where the void isn't interactable, the light begins to tear through the hull of the ship. Not actually, but it seems to be in like a metaphysical sense, as if it's breaking the walls of the cell. Voices one that isn't Ellie or Simon, and it says, see. Simon replies back, I see you. His eye moves to the left to see something staring back at him. It's hard to make out whether this is the eye we'll encounter very soon, or if this is the fix. The voice replies back to him, saying it doesn't matter which, because God in the light sees this as a binding vow to let Simon into his universe. Simon awakes and emerges from blood. Blood as far as the eye can see. He is in a world that none of us know about. Ellie is behind him, and says, we are one. Simon, open your eyes.
Ich habe ein Geschenk für dich, mein Schatz.
His left arm is being bound down to something the surface, this amulet of the sapling.
Zeichnet mehr.
Under the surface
Hier
of the amulet is, we either
zeige
see
ich dir
abundance
ein.
of roots or veins, which is telling us something eventually the voice of Simon, Butcher. When he looks to see what he's talking about, all we can make out of it is that it's a giant god, similar in appearance to either Sauron from Lord of the Rings or biblically the angel. After
Darf ich ihn
gazing
für dich aufschneiden?
There is so much to
This woman is my life, you
Going
understand?
back to that idea I mentioned earlier, Mark mentioned that while Disney is considered the smell for other ways of nature. So, seeing what Ellie said about a god viewing the world through a pinhole and the light being utilized for
Cerebral
cortex. This being, whether a god or just a spectator is what caused the quiet fracture. In a manner similar to the radiation camera emitting a strong light, it takes a hole through our reality to view our world and universe through this light, in turn accidentally causing the quiet rapture, just like Simon accidentally caused radiation poisoning. For some reason, after looking at Simon, the god labels him as a butcher, obviously nodding to his nickname. This is interesting because it goes back to what we talked about earlier, how Simon is in denial about who he really is. The god makes sense of what it sees, and it sees that Simon is a butcher. Therefore, he is. Speaking of the god making sense of what it sees, this could be why the quiet rapture happened, as when the god viewed our universe and saw that our universe was
The transport helicopter is ready when you are, Glass Coffin.
regardless,
Soon
let's
as you
take a
get
look
our
at
people
what
out of
Ellie
the
said.
compound,
We
we'll
all
swoop in
want
and pick you
We
up.
know this to be for sure what Ellie said, because it's actually the slogan on the Iron One crew member t-shirts, which were given out to everyone who worked on this production.
William!
Coming off of Ellie on the crew
What
shirts,
happened to
appears
you?
to be roots, not
You
too
bleeding?
far from
After
one
Set got
who's
us out from the cells, we thought we would be escaping all on our own. Put the sea on
interacting with the blood
Jason Hoyer, man.
Let's get out. Kinder, let's go. Fight, fight.
With vampires, Vecna, and Demogorgons. In Ireland's case, it's the god Elf, and eventually Simon taps
This
into that
elevator has
blood.
seen better.
It's a prime interpretation. Very well. I think the sapling being holds it down. It has a lot of layers in it that involve human connection, brotherhood, and family. Everyone in Eden is connected. They are brothers. The COI are a united fleet. If we take the tree sapling as a stand-in for something symbolic, trees have always represented human connection. Think family trees, for example. Tracing back through history is going down the tree, through its branches, and to find the roots of yourself and your origin. We learn that Eden has a motto, that when you die, your body will be the soil for a new tree. While it's more than likely literal that in the movie they're going to use human bodies as trees, it's also a metaphor that your life is a building block in the lives of others in future generations. We are all one in the blood, I think implies that in the end, all humans have something that binds us together like roots and trees. Our blood, our heritage. That is why when Simon looks down at what's binding him, it is a sapling and likely a bunch of roots or veins. It is an interesting metaphor that can be viewed in many ways. Is Simon bound down by his heritage? When the rapture occurred, did most of humanity fuse together and form his blood? There are so many questions for this scene, and so many ideas on what gets the sapling and the overall picture to mean. But what we know for sure is that this eye is something equivalent to a god. It is not from our universe. Caused the quiet rapture, likely by accident. While Simon is uncertain about himself, this being sees him for what he is, a butcher.
We have met before. I think today we meet for the last time. Captain Blazkowicz. Still fighting after all these years. I remember your friend. I savor his memory. Do you remember him? In work like this, it is easy to be tempted to sense compassion. We must learn that this is pointless instinct, not fit for the master race. Hoch, hoch, auf die Platte! destruction, I would ask you to consider, in the end we will be judged. Not by what we have destroyed, but what we have created. Quiet. Oh. Can you grasp the splendor of the intelligence of the human brain? Amalgamated with the efficiency and obedience of the machine. Machine man, clear the room!
Private, it was an honor to serve by your side.
To weaken me, but my shield takes its power from the storm itself. Channeled from Asgard. The scalpel for the merit, Captain! Oh, look at you! You run like a cockroach from the line! Nothing like skin and muscle tissue to protect your fragile organs! My weapons are forged from German steel! My armor reaches into the skies! compassion? Is that all you have?
General, before the day is done, I will have you at the end of my blade and force your surrender. General, before the day is done, I will have you at the end of my blade and force your surrender. Crawl down a hole, General. Won't take it. I'm coming for you.
got no but irrational conduct.
General, before the day is done, I will have you at the end of my blade and force your surrender. Oh no, General. Won't save you. I'm coming for you.
Senseless idiocy. chose well, Captain Velasco. This is a good one.
Count to 4. Inhale. Count to 4. Exhale.
Never needed to you. Fine. I will cut you standing.
Moskowitz, we're in possession. The nuclear cannon is armed. I'm clear to fire. A mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning. And her name, Mother of Exiles. Tell me you're tired, you're bored. You've huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these. The homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. Roscoe, do you read? I'm clear to fire.
You're clear.